Been almost 2 weeks, y'all, as far as I can tell, since I've been able to come live, but I'm back. Uh, so let's make it do what it do. So I'm gonna review. I don't like the camera angle. I'm gonna review. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm trying to get symmetry. There's these lights. I don't know if y'all have ever been to Asia, but in Asia, they blow you away with these bright white lights. I don't think they realize, the common people, that these bright white lights are high energy lights, and you can get skin cancer. Also headaches, etc. All of the, well, never mind. Let me just say this. If you watch a flat screen TV frequently and you have headaches and you feel depressed, well, it's very likely that that flat screen TV, the high energy emitted from that flat screen TV, is causing you the problem. Don't take my word for it. Google search it. You should be able to find it on Google. But I've met plenty of people who had that situation. And without going into it any further, y'all just check it out for yourself, okay? If you're feeling depressed, constant headaches, your eyes hurt, etc., suspect your flat screen TV, your big screen TV. Also, bright white lights. Also, the bright white lights, okay, give you problems with your eyes, headaches. Some people, unfortunately, will develop skin cancer over time. But it's if you have any type of insight or discernment, a lot of the products put out by these companies are toxic. You know, I remember when I was coming up, the just a regular incandescent lights, they were not harmful at all to your health. They were comfortable, etc. And now all of a sudden you can't find them anywhere. Everything is LCD. All of these things that are not only toxic to your physical body, your mental health, but also toxic to the environment. So y'all go figure that out. At every aspect of life, these elites are making it toxic. All of it to do what? Reduce your lifespan. And then while you're here, they want to make you into a healthcare consumer. In other words, make you into a patient where you need to go get treatment for this and treatment for that and buy their patented molecule, their medicines, okay? So Watch the Collapse podcast writes, been a while, Yasapa. Good to see you streaming, buddy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Watch the Collapse podcast. Y'all check out that podcast. And but anyway, it is what it is, y'all. You can't run from it. It's what's really happening. What you can do is protect yourself, okay? And no fool, no ignorant person has ever been free, okay? Anyway, let's pick it up. I want to review beginning on page 28. Now, I'm going to tell you, we covered this, but I want to review it because well, let me not explain it. Let's just get into it because I'll wind up taking a lot of time. Page 128, we're going to start at the first sentence at the top of the page, okay? You can put your comments in, and if I can, when I get to them, I'll read them off or try to answer, okay? So here's how it begins. Page 128. It also signifies that the sun sun has reached the meridian, and that the hottest part of the day has passed, and evening approaches. So now we're talking about a 24-hour day, correct? 24-hour day. The sun comes up, depending on where you're at on the planet, usually between 5:30 a.m., 5:30 in the morning, and 6 a.m. in the morning. Sunrise. The sun rises, right? Where does it rise? The horizon. So if this is the horizon, the sun will rise above the horizon. So this is the zone of Horus, and Horus is rising. Y'all see that? That's where the language comes from. That's where that word horizon comes from. The zone of Horus, or Horus rising. Okay, y'all? Now, so there are, at the religious level, these are deities, right? Horus, Set, Jesus. These are deities, solar deities. But astrologically, it's referring to the sun. But again, the scriptures have multiple meanings. Okay, and wherever your vibration is, meaning whatever your belief is, whichever one of those paradigms you are in, that's what's going to be true for you. Okay, that's what's going to be true for you. So we need to rise up above this religious stuff, y'all. Okay, we need to break free mentally from this religious stuff, this religious doctrine, the fear and the ignorance in that. Now let's continue. Now again, a 24-hour day. The sun has reached the meridian, so this would be 12 o'clock noon. The zenith, the sun is at its highest point in the sky. The sun is at its highest point in the sky. And then depending on where you're at on the planet, because the sun is at its highest point in the sky, the sun rays, the Ra, in religion or mythology, that's a deity. In astrology or in nature, that's just the waves of the sun. That's sunlight, electromagnetic energy, and anything else that we're not aware of at the moment. Okay, y'all? So the sun has reached its zenith, its meridian, and that the hottest part of the day has passed. Okay? The hottest part of the day has passed. I don't think I need to talk about that. Everybody knows what the hottest part of the day is. And evening is approaching. And sundown, sunset, sundown, set, Horus, evil brother. Sunset, darkness, y'all see it? Darkness, dark, evil, wickedness, sunset. Take the D off of dark, attach it to evil, you get devil. Or take evil, take the word live, and reverse it, you get evil. Okay, so now we're dealing what? The law of opposites. Life. And the reverse of all of the good in life would be evil. Put the D, prefix the D to evil, and you get devil. Seth, the devil, Darth Vader from Star Wars. Okay? And actually Star Wars, what is that about? Well, if you look at it at a macro scale, Star Wars you can look at as being the trauma, conflict, and collapse that occurs in societies on Earth when a zodiacal age changes. So there is what? Metaphorically speaking, there's a war in the stars about which planet is going to do what? Rise, be the one that rises or that you can see if you look toward the east at sunrise for the next 2,150 or 60 years or so. Okay, everybody understand that? So now let's keep going. And sundown or fall below the horizon approaches. The fall below the horizon. The fall below the zone of Horus. Okay? So sunrise, the sun is rising. Sunset, the sun is falling. So here the sun is rising, and here the sun is setting, opposites. Okay? Also, it denotes the fall Passover. It denotes the fall Passover. Now, isn't that something? This is 1892 when this book was published. The astrology of the Old Testament, the lost word regained. Of course, that lost word would be the truth, which is what? Astrology, or the influence of the heavenly bodies on consciousness and physical matter in the physical universe. Okay? In other words, the stars are for signs and seasons, etc., as it quotes in the scripture. Everybody see that? So now, there's a spring Passover and an autumn Passover. Well, it just depends on the terminology. So in the spring, the sun is passing over the horizon, the zone of Horus. The sun is approaching from the south, moving north, and it passes over the horizon. The Jewish people call this the Passover, and you'll see an account of this in the stories about Moses and the Passover and the Israelites leaving Egypt and all of that. Okay? Christianity calls it what? Well, this is Christ being resurrected. Christ is the same natural phenomena. The sun passing over, going north, ascending. And the Christians call it Easter, Christ's resurrection. Okay? But with the fall, the sun is approaching the horizon from the southern point of view, and it's going to cross below the horizon. Everybody see that? The sun is going to cross below the horizon. And this, in religion, this is when Christ gets crucified. Not Jesus, but Christ gets crucified, because the sun at the summer solstice, June 22nd is the summer solstice. When the sun reaches the summer solstice, which is the highest point that the sun will reach during the year, that will happen on June 22nd, thereabout. June 22nd. So the sun is what? At the meridian, and it cannot go higher. So it must what? It must fall. Christ gets spit on and slapped. Christ gets betrayed. Right? These things must occur. There's nothing Christ can do about it. They must occur. The Son of Man must be humiliated. And then on September 22nd, the sun will what? cross below the celestial horizon. This author is calling that the fall Passover. But this is when the Son or Christ gets crucified. And in the Christian iconography, you'll see in the painting, you'll see Christ crucified and Mother Mary next to him. Mother Mary is the constellation Virgo. Okay? And then if I remember correctly, on September 29th, Christ gets accompanied to hell by Michael the Archangel. Okay? So I'm trying to show y'all the paradigms, the religious paradigm, and then the astrological or the natural phenomena paradigm. Okay? Now let's continue. So the fall Passover, scholars, this is when Christ gets crucified. Okay, when the SUN sun reaches Libra, when the SUN sun reaches the constellation Libra, a table or feast of unleavened bread, where the SUN sun leaving Virgo, a garden or Garden of Gethsemane. Christ gets crucified where? In the Garden of Gethsemane. Y'all know there's 2 crucifixions in the Bible. There are 2. There's also, if I remember correctly, one in Revelation. This is black coffee with honey. So I had to start bringing my own honey to the coffee shops because I noticed that I would order honey in my coffee and I would get cramps, muscle cramps. And then it dawned on me. I asked one of the people who work here, I said, well, let me see the ingredient. Let me see the coffee, the honey bottle so I can read it. And of course it was not pure honey. It had high fructose corn syrup in it. So if y'all, which is toxic. And if you notice that you have joint pains or something like that, you might be eating some product that has high fructose corn syrup in it, right? And then that's causing you all kind of trouble. Pains in your shoulder at night, all kind of trouble. Okay, and all you really need to do, if that's the cause of it, is eliminate the high fructose corn syrup. But it may be you're just dehydrated. You just may need to drink mineral water. Okay, that might get rid of your pain, your cramps at night. All right. So let's continue. So here we are, scholars. We talked about the summer solstice, right? Cancer, June 22nd. Then the sun is going to move into Leo. This is the hottest part of the year where the sun's energy is at its most intense. As we learn, I think we're going to review this in these pages. And that has an impact, or it facilitates, or it fecundates, or it makes the soil, Mother Earth's womb, very fertile. Very, very fertile. Okay? Now, next constellation is going to be Virgo. Our ancient ancestors, and by the way, this astrological system that we have right now is not the original. Is not the original. So I have been researching and I found the original, or at least what's said to be the original zodiacal system. Okay, and it has a totally different orientation. So I'm going to be bringing that to y'all. Of course, what we need to work out as people, as an empire, as a nation of Moors, regardless of what your family is. Let me restate that. Regardless of whether you say you are Kemetic, Egyptian, regardless of you say you're Israelite, regardless of whether you're Moab, any of the autochthonous bloodlines, you are Moors. In law, you are Moors. In the Bible, you're Moors. Okay? Being a Moor is not a religion, it's not a club. Okay? Moor means autochthonous or indigenous man, and man with a womb. Period. Those men and women who are sprung from the, or those men who are sprung from the soil. So that's Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. But we need to go back to the ways, the lifestyle, and the sciences, the true sciences of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Period. Ain't nothing else to be said about it. Now, could there be a logical reason why the configuration was changed to what we see now? Well, it could be. But maybe you know this information and I don't know it yet. If you know it, share it with me. But we need to go back to the principles, to the heritage and culture of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your ancient foremothers and forefathers so that it may go well with you on the land that I am giving you. So in other words, there's an estate, and this estate is held in trust. So we Moors need to live our lives according to the rules of the trust in order to reap the benefits secured for us. In other words, secure for us to have access to the enjoyment of all of the property in the trust, tangible and intangible. Y'all see, all of this has been remixed into religious doctrine. For those of you who understand what I just said, you understand it. And for those of you who don't, you have to either read these books on your own, come to my class. I teach a class every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Learn Ancient Ibaryath on your own. Read the old astrotheology books on your own. Learn civics. I get all my civics off of enforcetheconstitution.org or I don't remember if it's .org or .com, y'all. I'm sorry. But you need to do it on your own, or you need to do it with someone. Okay? But you have to take back your heritage. Otherwise, as we used to say when I was coming up, you just out here. You're just out here. Okay? So you need to learn civics. You need to learn law. You need to know who you are, and that's who you are. You need to learn the Hermetic Laws and how to apply them. You need to learn the sciences that emanate from the Hermetic Laws. Mathematics, physics, architecture, language, linguistics. You need to learn. Okay? But anyway, let me get off of that. So here we are. So we're at Libra, and y'all, I posted an image of Leo the lion, rather, and Virgo, and then Scorpio. Now, you should remember that Virgo Scorpio at one time, Virgo Scorpio was one constellation. It was called Virgo Scorpio. Okay? It was called Virgo Scorpio. This is very important. For you guys to know this, especially the conjoined, how they are conjoined. This involves Leo too. We're going to cover this. And then at the fall of man, the Greeks, if it's true, this is what's recorded in history, it was the Greeks who inserted Libra. The Greeks inserted Libra between Virgo and Scorpio. So now that there's Libra, one constellation. There's Virgo, one constellation. Libra, another constellation, and then Scorpio. So that there are three. Maybe it's better to do it this way. So, y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. So they said it was the Greeks. Was it really the Greeks who did it? Well, we don't know. But what we do know is that these people who wrote these histories, they're liars. Meaning to say that they wrote history as not a true account of what actually happened in the past, but they wrote it to dominate, to mislead, to brainwash, and to dominate. Okay, so when you're dealing with a publicly known liar, you can't believe anything they say. In fact, what's the name of the book that the Jewish people use? Y'all know, not the Hebrew scriptures, but the other one. I don't remember the name of it. But anyway, they have in there that if a person, and you also see this in the Judeo-Christian legal system, if a person lies once and you catch them, it's known, then you don't have to consider anything else they say because they're a known liar. Anything else they say is a lie. Now, buyer beware. Because see, if you know that, and they say something and you accept it anyway without doing due diligence, you just give them full faith and credit, well, guess what? Guess what? It's your fault. It's your fault. Why? Because you know that information came from a known liar. And you believed it anyway. So you're a fool. It's like the Roman maxim of law. I'm a paraphraser. If somebody, wants to be fooled, let them be fooled. And they're still going to be held accountable. Why? Because you're irresponsible. If someone is a publicly known liar, you do not trust anything they say. If they're your enemy, and you know the enemy based upon their actions. Now let's say I remember a situation with someone who smiled in my face for years, but then only later on, as I matured, got experience in life, I started to realize that this person who was supposed to be, I'll be frank with you, it was my father. This person was behaving as an enemy to me, the things that he was doing without me knowing it. And when you're a child, even when you grow up to be a man, you don't see it. Unless you get hit over the head enough and you have enough experience in life where it forces you to see it. And some people still won't see it, right? But there are many people who have narcissistic, malignantly narcissistic mothers and fathers, or even sisters and brothers. Actually, if you come from a family like that, there's probably going to be, you probably have siblings who take on that same personality. But you know, not because of what a person says, but you examine their behavior objectively. In other words, you can't look at it as that's my mother or that's my father. You have to step out You have to step out of that role or that relationship and take an honest, objective look and say, is this person's behavior that of an enemy, a friend, or mother, father, sister, brother? It ain't got nothing to do with you or him or her, your family member. You just look at it for what it is. And if I'll give y'all another indication, this is how you know. Everything that they know about you eventually goes bad. There's a bad outcome for you. If they get involved or if they learn about it, and at some point it goes negative on you, well, that person is probably betraying, not probably, definitely betraying you or hates you. Okay? Now that's how I was able to figure it out. But I didn't figure it out on my own, that's for sure. Okay? But anyway, so here we are. Virgo. The original fall of man, Virgo. After the original fall of man, the Greeks, as the story goes, inserted Libra into the zodiac. Okay? So now we have Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. So let's keep it moving. Now remember, Virgo, this is the woman, and what does she have? She has wings, so she's a hybrid. She has wings, so Virgo is a hybrid. That should not surprise you, right? Because what? Zodiac, the root of zodiac is what? Or, is zoo. But y'all know, I think I heard Jordan Maxwell say that kingdom, the word kingdom, has its root. I think it was in zoo. I have to go back and try to find that video. So in other words, Matthew chapter 6 verse 9, let your kingdom come. That kingdom would be what? Well, the zodiac. Let your kingdom come on earth, or rule on earth as it does in heaven. Okay, in other words, everyone would be broken away from religion. Their religion would be done. Let your kingdom come on earth, or rule on earth as it does in heaven. And then all the people would do what? They would acknowledge that the heavenly bodies are for signs and seasons and its influence. And then they would live in harmony with that. In other words, they would revert back to the ancient ways of their ancient foremothers and forefathers, their heritage. So let your kingdom come, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. But anyway, let's keep going. Virgo, woman, she has wings, and she has either, depending on which image, a sheath of corn or a sheath of wheat. Either way, you make cornbread or you make wheat bread, right? So here we are. The sun reaches Libra, a table. So when y'all see Libra, a table, Passover, fall Passover, Christ crucified, you should be thinking what? The Lord's evening meal or the Lord's supper. Y'all see it? When the S-U-N sun reaches Libra, a table or feast of unleavened bread, where the S-U-N sun leaving Virgo, the woman with the wings, with the horn in her hand, a garden. So Virgo is a garden, or garden of Gath's mane. So the bread on the table comes from Virgo. But you must remember that Virgo Scorpio is one constellation, according to our ancient ancestors. So that explains where the bread on the table comes from, right, scholars? The cross or Christ, giveth the Lord's Supper. And Scorpio or Judas Iscariot, the betrayer of blood. Judas Iscariot is the betrayer of blood. Scorpio, at this time, Scorpio is represented by a scorpion. And as the story goes, scorpions in the east, the stinger in their tail. Well, the tail is in the back, right? That's why it's called a tail. So that's why Judas Iscariot is a backbiter, right? The stinger is in the back. He's a backbiter. The Scorpio will sting you with this tail, and then that stinger, when it punctures your skin, it's going to look like two lips, which is the kiss or kiss of death. So Judas Iscariot, the betrayer of blood. The betrayer of blood. So is this talking about Jesus being a Moor? And then Judas betrays his own blood to foreigners for 30 pieces of silver? Or is Judas a betrayer of the blood of the covenant? Is he a betrayer of the blood of the covenant? Remember, Moses sprinkled the blood on the people, and it was not animal blood. It would have had to have been grape juice, y'all, or wine. The blood of the grape. The blood of the grape. Would you be out there, if you're Moses, would you go out there, put your hands in some animal blood and then start sprinkling on the people? No, that looks like something out of a horror movie. Ain't nobody gonna do that. You're gonna go kill an animal, collect his blood, then put your hand in it or put some and start slinging it. Imagine what that looks like. That looks like something out of a horror movie. But you have to remember, this is fall, the harvest. Right? The last day of the great harvest is September 29th. Okay, after that, the grape juice will no longer be sweet. You'll just get vinegar from a grape. So Judas Iscariot, the betrayer of the blood, he betrayed his people, betrayer of the bloodline of the autochthonous Moors, and or he betrayed the covenant. In other words, he broke the covenant, right? Or broke the contract. What's the contract? Well, the contract is that we have to live our life in accordance with natural law. We have to be rhythmic with nature, just like all other life forms, all other material things are living rhythmically or in harmony with nature. We have to do the same. That has been converted into a religious doctrine. Okay, y'all? So let's keep it moving. Virgo, a garden, or garden of Gasmain. The cross or Christ giveth the Lord's Supper. Now, y'all know Lord, I haven't talked about this one too much, but it's not like a big, maybe it's a big deal for some people. But Lord simply means oil, Christo. As in, when I was a little boy, everybody cooked with Crisco. You know, the white grease, animal grease. or Christ giveth the Lord's Supper, or Christ giveth the Lord's oil. Christ giveth the Christo, or the Crisco, for supper. And Scorpio, or Judas Iscariot, the betrayer of blood, who dippeth with him in the dish. So Judas Iscariot, again, is Scorpio. And in the Bible story, Judas dips into the dish with Christ. So this is signifying that the two constellations are conjoined. But we're going to get into that. Okay? But this is the symbology of it. This is the remix of natural phenomena, the configuration, locality of the constellations, Virgo, Libra. Well, actually, let's take it back. Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. That's what this is talking about. But let's keep it moving. And by the way, a betrayer of the blood, someone who breaks the covenant, who lives out of harmony with natural law, well, automatically that's a what? Lower self person. Right? Deuteronomy, I think it's 5:9, talks about the person who breaks the Most High's commandments, how his heirs will suffer punishment for what his mother or father did. That's called an attainder. When there's public policy, a statute, code, administrative regulation, statute, code, regulation, yeah. When there's something like that done through a legislative body, administrative body, that's called a bill of attainder. So in other words, the felon, the betrayer of blood, his heirs will become non-descendable. And public policies will be put in place to punish them as a result of what their fathers did. This is where the concept of bills of attainders have their origin in the Bible, okay? So the bill of attainder, one of the elements is that it's intended to target a specific group of people or a specific person. So race black. So if y'all go to the mosquitoes are getting me. If y'all go to the website enforcetheconstitution.org, so I printed all of the cases. So y'all know it. I'm going to show y'all this, but it rains a lot in Vietnam. So my book got wet. So you're going to see some water stains on it, but it's unavoidable. But I want to show y'all something. So this is a case. This is an affidavit of fact. Let me see. Well, it doesn't matter. I don't want to go and waste too much time. Not waste time, but I don't want to spend too much time. So let's look at an affidavit of fact that was filed in the Circuit Court for Charles County on March 22nd, 2023. This is an affidavit of fact, demand to settle with the alleged commercial plaintiff, injured party. This is an international document. So I'm not going to go further in that, but the reason, y'all look at the reason. Right here, RE colon. Y'all read that. Pause the video if you're looking at this on the replay or after the live stream. Read that. So let me read it for y'all. Reason. Misrepresented instrument. Unconstitutional bill of attainder. Foreign bill of exchange, title, case number, and then it gives the case number. So this is the practical application of Deuteronomy 5 verse 9. In the community, if y'all want to see this in the community post, I put some information about bills of attainder so y'all can go read it yourself. Okay? So we as a people are under the curses. This would be Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through 68. Are being hit with bills of attainder. Disguised as law. Okay? Disguised as law. That's what it's meant by misrepresented instrument. These instruments are disguised. Okay, y'all? So let's continue. Here we are, yeah. So Judas Iscariot, the betrayer of blood. So he's a lower self being now, who dippeth with him in the dish. Of course he's lower self, right? Why? Think about it. The sun is falling. So darkness. Okay? Summer is ending. Summer has ended. Fall has begun. It's getting dark. It's getting cold. Everybody see it? This is the nature, the natural phenomena. The cycle of life and death. Good and evil. Listen to what it says. Who dippeth with him is Jesus, him is the Christ, him is Jesus, who dippeth with him in the dish. Viz is an old way of saying meaning, or that is to say, or specifically something like that. Viz Libra, Scorpio, conjoined. Conjoined means joined. So Jesus and Judas dipped together in the dish. All it's saying is that Libra is here. For example, let's say here's Libra, and then here's Scorpio. They're joined. That's all it's saying. Well, you would expect that, right? Because in ancient times, Virgo, Scorpio. So they're conjoined. So the Greeks just threw Libra in the middle. Why? Because of the original fall of man. The original fall of man. Fall, autumn, fall season, autumn. Y'all see this? In fact, it is fall. It's fall season. It's autumn. For even in the mixture of phallus worship, phallus, that means erected penis. Penis worship. In this sign, the sun's number 6 has turned to the moon's number 9. Now, I went into this in the previous class, the class before this one, so I'm not going to go into this, okay? The 6. But isn't it interesting, 6-9? Huh? In this sign, the sun's number 6 has turned to the moon's number 9. In other words, when the sun is ascending from spring, from March 22nd to June 22nd, the sun is ascending, the sun is in power. Right? But from June 25th going down, especially past September 22nd, well, now the nights are longer. So now we're seeing the moon in the night sky, not the sun. Okay, so this is what he means by the sun's number 6 has turned to the moon's number 9. Because in the fall and winter, the nighttime hours are greater than the daytime hours. Okay, so we see the moon at night. All right, and the sun falls in Libra. And Saturn and Satan is exalted, and Saturn and Satan is exalted. So Satan is Saturn. But Satan is not a devil like y'all think. Somebody who's out to get you. Satan is just another name for the planet Saturn, period. That's in nature. In religion, in Christianity, Satan is an evil, wicked spirit who's against God, who's against Christ, and he's against you, and he's trying to set you up and get you into a situation where you're going to make bad decisions, and God is going to punish you with eternal hellfire or eternal death without the hope of a resurrection. Okay? Or in the Jewish religion, Satan is a prosecutor, right? Who's going out testing people. All right? Now, but in nature, that's not the case. Satan is just Saturn. And Libra is the house of Venus. Libra is the house of Venus. And Saturn is exalted in Libra. Then it says here, see the exaltation and dignities of the planets. And here, listen y'all, listen. And here is the mystery of 3 in 1. Virgo, 1. Libra, 2. Scorpio, 3. 3 means Trinity. 3 in 1. So there's the mystery of the 3 in 1. From the point of view of nature. So I would like for you scholars, make the distinction between nature, natural phenomena, and religion. Don't mix the two. Don't get them confused. Okay? This has nothing to do with your religious doctrine. This is nature. Okay? Religion is a perversion. Religious doctrine, as we see it, is a perversion, a corruption of natural phenomena, or the truth, or the Word of God. And hence the title of this book, The Astrology of the Old Testament, or The Lost Word Regained. Okay, Moors? So, we need to correlate this with what? The Zodiac Constitution. So let me bring that to your attention. Let's go back to the cases. I'm going to go to the same case. Let me see. Okay. So let's go back to the same case. Affidavit of fact. Demand to settle with the alleged commercial claimant. Plaintiff, injured party. This is an international document. why is it an international document? Well, when you look in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the Moroccan Empire and the United States of North America, it is made clear that Moors, that's one nationality. This is the nationality of the autochthonous Moors of the Moroccan Empire. And then there are the U.S. citizens. Then there are the U.S. citizens, clearly and distinctly identified as two different peoples. So when we interact with U.S. citizens or citizens, let's say a state citizen, right? A state citizen. When we interact with them, that's governed through an international document. Which document? The Treaty of Peace and Friendship that I just mentioned, 1836. So it's an international document. So this takes us back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Right? The man who is created from the soil or sprung from the soil, who is thought made manifest from the land, who is thought, who is sunlight, dressed in flesh. Dressed in flesh. Okay? Thought made manifest, light, mixed with the land, dressed in flesh. Moors. And then there's the hybrid. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27. Okay, the genetically engineered Han-Uman. Is it clear? So now we have two different bloodlines. Okay, one is not a people. Non-descendable, right? Has no birthright, no land. So this is an international document for this reason. Okay? Now, let's continue. Affidavit. So you'll see, let me show you. So here's the page I just showed y'all. Take a look. Y'all pause this and read it. If you watch it after the live, okay? So let's turn to the next page on the affidavit. Affidavit of fact, rather. Now you'll see here, it says affidavit. So y'all read the affidavit. Read the affidavit, please. Right there. Okay, now let me read it for you. Affidavit. I declare and affirm by virtue of divine law. Well, what's divine law? Divine law is you. The 7 Hermetic Laws. Under the Zodiac Constitution. Moors, do you see that? Under the Zodiac Constitution. Under the Zodiac Constitution. We're studying the Zodiac right now. And it has practical application in our lives today, now. I declare and affirm. See, without the affidavit declaring and affirming, well, this document wouldn't mean anything. Right? Wouldn't mean anything. I declare and affirm by virtue of divine law the 7 Hermetic Principles, the first of which is mind, thought. The other 6 emanate from that. And it is through these 7 Hermetic Principles that the material universe was formed. That would include the constellations, the heavenly bodies, the Zodiac, the Mazzaroth. I declare and affirm under the Zodiac Constitution. Jesus said, let your kingdom come, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 14, connotatively speaking, we know it in religion as the blessings. Okay, or in other words, the property held in trust, tangible and intangible, that you get to enjoy when you live rhythmically with nature. In other words, when you be yourself. Who are you? You are divine. You are the law. You are divine law in your higher self. I declare and affirm upon the honor of my foremothers and forefathers. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your fathers and your mothers so that it may go well with you in the land that I am giving you. Well, what land did the Most High give us? And by the way, Most High refers what? To the sun sun at 12 o'clock at the zenith, at its meridian. This is talking about you. In the land that I am giving you. This is an estate held in trust. Does everyone see this? This is why it's called the Judeo-Christian legal system. This is why the New Testament and the Old Testament are astrotheology. Of course, it's been perverted. It's astrology, astrotheology. I declare and affirm upon the honor of my foremothers and forefathers. See, if you go against the principles of your ancient foremothers and forefathers, the principles, the heritage, the science, you will be what? You will be cursed. Why? You corrupted the blood of the covenant. You are a betrayer of the blood. And so therefore you will do what? You will be cursed. Deuteronomy chapter 28, 15 through 68. You will be hit with bills of attainder. You'll suffer chronic illnesses. You'll suffer shame at every turn. Why? Because you're living out of harmony with nature. But that only makes sense. Anything that's out of harmony with nature will soon perish. Okay, now listen. I declare and affirm by virtue of divine law under the Zodiac Constitution, and we're covering the Zodiac Constitution now also, the astrology of the Old Testament, and upon the honor of my foremothers and forefathers, that the above demand to settle with alleged commercial claimant, plaintiff, injured party, and affidavit is true and correct. It's true and correct. Without that, this document means absolutely nothing. Why? Because it would be false and a lie. There's nothing to ensure that it's true and correct. Okay, and the brother was successful. This is our Consul General Lamont Maurice L. Of course, he was successful in having these cases dismissed. Why? Because he honors his ancient foremothers and forefathers. Okay? So this is Deuteronomy chapter 30. securing your birthright. Y'all go read Deuteronomy chapter 30, like the first 15 or 16 verses. You'll see what I'm talking about, okay? So all of it, has practical application in our life today. And if you can see the religion, if you have eyes that will see, well, you can see how to free yourself, which is to return to the Most High, which is what? To live in harmony with nature, which is to honor our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. So let's go back to page 128. Hence, the foregoing, and hence, the foregoing embodies both phallus, that's erected penis, and planetary accounts. In other words, the erected penis, understanding of these verses, and the planetary accounts, and the astrological or astrotheological understanding of these verses, okay? So, phallus worship, erected penis, well, that sounds kind of disgusting, right? But that's not what it's about. So the way that's been presented to us through chematology, or well, let me not say that. For those who look at this as being a perverted sexual fetish for a male sexual organ, erect, that's not what this is talking about at all. But we're going to get into that, okay? He continues. And he or she who is enlightened, or who has eyes that will see. Well, this is referring us to what Jesus said, right? I talk to the people in parables, so that although having eyes to see, although having eyes, they will never perceive. Although having eyes to see, they will never perceive. Well, part of that is because when you're grown up, from being, a baby, an infant, up until however old you are, you've been indoctrinated with this stuff. You didn't have enough experience in life. Your logical faculties, or your analytical, critical thinking mind wasn't fully developed. You got all of this stuff before you were even ready to handle it. So of course, your eyes won't see, because you've been blinded, you've been indoctrinated. But at some point, some people are lucky in life. They never get caught up in that, right? But maybe they were caught up in something else. But the author here says, he or she who is enlightened. Okay, so again, that's sunlight. You've been enlightened so that you can see. The sun is shining and you can see everything. You've been enlightened. You're not in the dark. Or, stated differently, who has eyes that will see. In other words, you're open-minded. Okay, or you want to know the truth. You don't want to hear what supports what you've been indoctrinated with. You want to know how the world really works. So those who have eyes to see, or those who have eyes that will see, may see clearly, listen y'all, may see clearly the fruit of the tree which is in the midst or middle of the garden. Those who have eyes to see, those who have eyes that will see, may see clearly the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, or that is to say, or more specifically, on the cross. On the cross. This is the what? These are the equinoctial points. Spring and then fall. March 22nd, spring equinox. September 22nd, autumn or fall equinox. The vertical here, this is summer solstice, June 22nd. This is winter solstice, December 22nd. And here's the cross that the author is talking about. The tree that is in the middle of the garden. Let me just read it. So that those who have eyes that will see may see clearly the fruit of the tree which is in the midst, in the middle of the garden, viz. On the cross. And the meaning of the so-called serpent. And the meaning of the so-called serpent. So this is talking about what? Genesis. Right? This is talking about Genesis. The fruit of the tree that's in the middle of the garden. The so-called serpent. And of both man and wife partaking or partaking of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, or good and bad, whatever your translation has it. Y'all see this? And of the man being tempted by the womb man. Also the angel or angle of the Lord. The angle, which is translated or rendered angel in religion, of the Lord, of the crystal, of the crystal, of the crystal, of the Christ, the oil, which appeared at the Annunciation. Angle of the Lord. Lord, crystal, crystal, oil. Here we have a reference to a physiological meaning of these verses. Right? Physiology. The physiology of man. The rising oil. I'm not going to go into that. I did a video. I don't know if it was a video or a class where I discussed this stuff before. So now we're getting into the physiology of man as another encoded message or messages of these verses. He continues, for Libra is a feminine sign. Libra is a feminine sign. But isn't that interesting? Initially, or in ancient times, the constellation Virgo, Scorpio, well, Virgo is feminine. So now they're saying Libra or Libra is feminine. Well, okay, well that stands to reason, right? And is equivalent to the number 9. Libra is a feminine sign and is equivalent to 9. Remember, 9 is the moon or the womb or the man's private parts inverted. Penis and the testicles, the private parts inverted. So let me see. So here, let me see. Y'all see the number 6? Also a letter J. See the number 6? So invert that, you get a 9. Okay? So you have the anode and the cathode. The negative energy and the positive energy. So here we're dealing with the Hermetic Law of Opposites. Okay, y'all? The Hermetic Law of Opposites. And also what? Vibration. Because everything is moving. So the 6 becomes a 9. Hermetic Law of Vibration. And remember, when we create, when I say we, I'm talking about the first Hermetic Law, all is mind. Not create when we form. Not us in the physical, dressed in physical, earthly clothing, flesh. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about us, who we really are, outside of the physical body. Whenever we form something, not create, whenever we form something, remember the second law of thermodynamics. We form it always with negative and positive energy. Okay, or masculine and feminine energy. It has nothing to do with a vagina and a penis. It has nothing to do with that. It's just energy. Okay, you could call it apples and oranges. Okay, the point is that they're opposites, polar opposites. Masculine and feminine energy. Okay? So now, what's this serpent? What's this serpent? Well, here, this represents the universe. This is actually the Christian cross, right? The solstitial points, the equinoctial points, and then the sun moving its annual journey in a circle. Okay, the kingdom of God that Jesus talked about. Let your kingdom come. Okay, the 12 labors of Hercules, so on and so forth. So, if you have eyes to see, you can see the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the middle of the garden. Well, where's the garden? Well, the garden is Libra. Libra is the garden of Gethsemane. Right? And Libra, when the sun goes from Virgo into Libra, well now, what? Christ, Christos, the oil, prepares a table called the Lord's Supper. And it has what? Unleavened bread on it. And then Judas Iscariot kisses or betrays the Christ. Okay? And he's identified, the betrayer is identified by dipping into the same bowl as Jesus. So now let's get into this, y'all, because now we're getting into the original fall of man. The original fall of man. So I hope y'all have eyes that will see. That will see. If you don't have them now, I hope your goal is to obtain them. Okay? Let's continue. Hold on, let me let this go by. How long have we been going? Oh, an hour, 18 minutes already. Let me let this noise go away. 1 second. I need a break anyway. Whew. All right, y'all. So let me just say this, and let me just add this. So in Leo, the sun is very intense. It makes the soil very fertile, right? In August, we get the first, which is, I think, is the wheat or the barley harvest, followed by the full harvest. Okay? We get the full harvest. The sun is falling. From Leo to Cancer, it's falling, falling, falling. Nights are getting longer, days are getting shorter. Man, the son of man, the son of the sun, the son of God, is falling. The S-O-N of the S-U-N, the Son of the Sun, the Son of God is falling. In Virgo, which is the garden, and in Libra, the Son of Man is falling. Y'all see it? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Man falls. Now, let's continue. The Son of the Son, the Son of God falls. And by the way, you are Christ. This is why you hear great men, great not in terms of their wealth, but great in terms of their teaching. For example, the Reverend Ike, who people couldn't get down with his prosperity teaching, but what he said, that God is within you, that is actually a true statement, because he told you who you are. He told you who you are. So we are the Christ in our higher self, right? In other words, we are the Christ when we live in harmony with nature, when we live rhythmically with nature, when we are in our higher self. We are the Christ. Let's continue. Next paragraph, page 128. We also read that at first they, Adam and Eve, were naked and were not ashamed. And that afterward they made them coverings of fig leaves. After they ate from the tree, they felt shame, and then they covered their genital areas with fig leaves. Under the interpretation of phallus worship, of erect penis worship, or signification or symbolism, y'all see that? It's symbolism, not reality. It's symbolism. That is a fine, that meaning what? That they were naked. I'm getting beaten up by the mosquitoes. That is a fine representation of the heat and innocent state of youth until tempted by natural law. Well, what's the temptation by natural law? He's talking about when they reach puberty, or when your little heirs reach puberty. They start getting hair under their arms. Their hormones start jumping, okay? They start getting sexual desire. And the inevitable feeling of shame attending the gratification of lust. Now, that's a religious thing, or maybe that's a hybrid thing. Because there's no shame. Well, first of all, there's an assumption made that they become lustful. Now, when I was younger, I never became lustful during my puberty years. I was never lustful. In fact, I don't know anybody who was lustful. We used to collect phone numbers and stuff like that, but it was never a sexual thing. So maybe that's the hybrid mind. Okay, so don't project that onto autochthonous people. In my experience, I never experienced anything like that, myself or through other people. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: it is not inevitable that just because you're, blossoming and you're in the puberty stage of life, that doesn't mean you're going to be lustful. It definitely doesn't mean that you're going to be acting sexually and have something to feel ashamed of. They strove to hide by covering themselves with the lightest clothing of a torrid zone. It was hot. And the cooling leaves of the fig tree are chosen as a symbol. First, because the fig is full of seed. We used to say young, dumb, and full of cum. Right? Young, dumb, and full of cum. Secondly, because the use of this slight covering, the use of the fig leaves, is and always has been an aboriginal custom. Is and always has been an aboriginal, ab meaning first, Ab meaning generator, Ab meaning father, original father, the generator of man. The generator of man, also the generator of mankind. Why? Because the hybrid, the Neanderthal, the Han Uman, the product of the genetic experimentation programmed by Yaqub and his 12 feminine co-scientists, they used the egg of a Moabitess, the egg of a Moabite, the egg of a Moorish woman. The egg of a woman, and then they genetically engineered that with the sperm of a chimpanzee, the black one, the negro, the nigger, chimpanzee, and they produced a double-sexed, both the penis and vagina, and a morphodite present in the being. That's why it was only said to be good, not perfect, not outstanding. Okay, it got a letter grade C, not an A C. Everybody see it? Because the fig is full of seed, young, dumb, and full of cum. Secondly, because the use of the slight covering is and always has been. He said is. That's in 1892. He said that there were Moors or Aboriginal men and women wearing that. Now, have y'all ever seen a hybrid wearing a fig or just covering over the genital? Okay, it has been in Aboriginal. An Aboriginal custom. During childhood, and by the way, also y'all, Europe is cold. So no one's going to be running around Europe with fig leaves on. Okay? During childhood, till the age of puberty, they go entirely naked. But as soon as betrothal takes place, puberty, I guess that's what he means, and among savages, y'all see the mindset of this author? He's calling the Moors savages. So he had no idea, it never occurred to him that at some point in history, Moors would read his work, and that his work would be one of the ways we recover our heritage. He had no idea. This is for sure a Freemason. He admits it. I already read it where he said that he was a Freemason. Okay, y'all? Which takes place and among savages. This is in the very youth. And passion has been gratified. Well, y'all know, of course, this is not part of our ancient heritage. We wasn't running around having sex with everybody. We were a very, according to the historical accounts, we were a very, very clean people. Okay? Nobody was harming anybody. They write that in their own accounts. So he's projecting, he's talking about them, not us. Okay? In fact, this is what animals do, right? You can walk outside and you see dogs humping each other or other animals humping each other. Okay? Now let's continue. The circlet of the female, that's the circlet of fig tree, of the fig leaves, of the female is worn and the slight covering of the male. So the female's fig covering covered more of her genital areas, whereas the male only covered the front. This is what he just said. The remainder of the body, still in nakedness, is thus astrologically explained. The season of summer is herein described. Y'all got that? All of this is happening when it's hot. Well, that's why they're wearing fig leaves, right? But what do we know? This is occurring in the coffee belt. Within the Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degrees north, and the Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degrees south. All right? In other words, Tropic of Cancer, y'all right, if you look, the solstitial lines, Cancer, Capricorn, okay? The trees formerly naked and bare. When were the trees naked and bare? What season? And are now clothed in luxuriant verdure, and the fruit green but apparent. So the fruit is growing, it's green, but it's not ripe. So the fruit is visible but unripe as yet, and not fully developed. So he's talking about going from winter, right? The leaves fall off the trees in the fall. In winter, the only tree that's blossoming is what? The evergreen tree. Now y'all correlate that to, I don't remember the scripture. Jeremiah talks about the evergreen tree, the Christmas tree. Right? So it is the evergreen tree that thrives in the winter. It's still green in the winter. And this is where we get our pure, what is it called, y'all? They use it, turpentine, pure turpentine, that our ancestors used to treat their ailments. They sell it now in a product that's called turpentine spirits or something like that. Okay, so turpentine, our ancestors said kills parasites. Okay, and there's a lot, I'm not giving medical advice. Let me just say this, okay? Turpentine kills parasites. Parasites, many people say, y'all look this up on your own, that parasites cause cancer. And once they got rid of their parasites, their cancer went away. Now y'all check that out. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false, because I don't want YouTube to take down this video. But I'm talking about our ancient ancestors, what we used it for. Kill the parasites. And once you kill the parasites in your body, the toxins that the parasites produce within your body that causes you to become ill, that causes dysfunction in your body, well, all of those toxins are the production of them is going to stop. And now your body can heal and rejuvenate itself. But y'all go check that out for yourself, okay? This is why you hear accounts of people who use deworming type of, well, let me be quiet, y'all. YouTube might take this video down. But y'all go check that. I don't know if it's true or not, YouTube. But y'all research it yourself, okay? But it's the pine tree that thrives, survives, and thrives in the winter that gives us turpentine. For our health. He continues. The author continues. The trees formerly naked and bare, all of them except for the pine tree. Oh no, let me rephrase that. The trees formerly, excluding the pine tree, naked and bare, are now clothed in luxurious vendor, so spring and now summer, right? And the fruit green but apparent. So we're definitely in summer. Probably like in July, because the fruit has already been produced. It's visible but unripe as yet, and not fully developed. Much falls to the ground. Much of the fruit is going to fall to the ground. And the earth, represented by the earthly sign of Virgo the Virgin, whose helpmeet, y'all remember we covered the helpmeet, whose helpmeet is Leo, or Adam and Eve conjoined. Look in the community post, y'all, that I put up. In the community post I put up, you'll see a picture of the constellation Leo the lion and Virgo, okay? And you'll see how they are conjoined, meaning that they're very close to one another. They're like touching. Okay, so y'all go see that. Y'all go look at that. So this is the helpmeet. Let me put it in the author's words. Let me let the author say it in his own words. Where is it? Hold on. This is the helpmeet, and I remember I used to always wonder, what does that mean, a helpmeet? If I don't find it right away. Oh, here it is. Page 125 and 26. So bottom, the last paragraph of page 125 over to 126. This is what it says. This Adam and Eve are the modern Joseph and Virgin Mary. For Adam is the sign Leo. Leo, the lion of the tribe of Judah, right? And we are what? Ascendants of Adam. For Adam is the sign Leo, and Eve the sign Virgo, or original Virgo Scorpion, or original Virgo Scorpio, or serpent woman. The mother of all, or helpmeet of Adam, and signifies that the first degree, or the head of the Virgin, or Virgo, is lying and meeting with the last degree of the sign of Leo. So every day is a degree. So there are 30 degrees in every zodiac sign, 30 degrees in 30 days, therefore 30 degrees in every month, and then 5 added in there. Okay? 5 added in there. If I'm correct, it was as religious holidays. So that gives you the 365 days in a year. Okay? Thus, one sign continuously goes into another, and they are joined, and they are co-joined, and they are joined like an unbroken circle, or as one flesh. There's the astrological or natural phenomena remixed into religion, or a religious doctrine. Okay, let's go back to page 129. Much fruit falls to the ground, and the earth, represented by the earthly sign Virgo the Virgin, whose helpmeet is Leo, or Adam and Eve conjoined. That's page 125 and 126. We just covered it. The virgin earth fecundated. That means to make fruitful. Okay? To make prolific, to make fertile, to impregnate. The virgin earth fecundated by the magnetic vital rays of the sun. By the magnetic vital rays of the sun, by Ra. Rays, Ra. Makes the soil prolific, makes the soil fertile. Okay? So the virgin earth, fecundated by the magnetic rays of the sun, becomes as one. Adam and Eve become one flesh. For astrology teaches that wherever the sun and other planets and stars are in the heavens at birth, these are radically the places during the life and the magnetism, or the electromagnetism as we would say today, of those planets, sun, moon, and stars is fixed as one flesh, one being. So this is taking us back to what? When a man or woman comes into the world, he ascends out of his mom's womb. At that moment, the configuration of the heavens is whatever it is, let's call it A. Then he expires, or she expires. Okay? So, this time in between, so birth and expiration, this is what the Catholic Church calls purgatory, because it has to do when you will be resurrected. And then they monetized it. I've talked about that before. But let's continue. He said, the author continues, these are radically the places during life. And the magnetism of those planets, sun, moon, and stars, it's the magnetism, not gods, devils, and demons. Okay? In other words, the energies of the celestial bodies having influence. The same way Wi-Fi, your Wi-Fi channel is going to influence what you get on your screen. Let me see what time it is. It might be time for me to go. Emoy. Emoy, what time do you close? What time do you close? Okay, can you let me know? Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to try to make this point, and then I got to bounce. Where are we? Oh, okay. So they become one flesh, all right? For astrology teaches that, or nature teaches that, wherever the sun and other planets and the stars are in the heavens at birth, these are radically the places during life, and the magnetism of those planets, suns, moon, and stars is fixed or become one flesh. So you become one flesh with the configuration of the heavens when you're born. That configuration and you become one flesh, as it were. The birth of Eve is a beautiful symbol of astrological teaching, for she, Eve is the moon, and Adam is the sun, must be in the same sign, in due east. That's Aries, the east gate, or the Garden of Eden, to find the serpent woman, who is Eve, which you will find in the mysteries of Isis. Isis is Virgo. Virgo is Eve. Later on, Virgo is also the earth, the soil, okay? Or become as one body. And yet, in the very entrance to Eden, to the garden, Virgo, to the Garden of Eden, Garden of Gethsemane, the head of the serpent appears. Yet in the very entrance to Eden, the head of the serpent appears. To resume. Now we're going to go back. To resume. The virgin earth fecundated or made fertile by the vitalizing magnetic rays of the Escheat sun ripens the harvest. So the fruit that were green, they now become ripe. And yet, under the early frost of the forthcoming winter, the Escheat sun has now got into Libra. And the serpent or Scorpio leads him, that is, him is the Escheat sun, to his fall. Scorpio leads him to his fall. Judas leads Christ to his fall with the kiss, right? And the superabundance of water, which is the minstrel of nature, the superabundance of water. The water is the minstrel of nature. The heavy fruit, unripe, and frost-killed falls to the ground, and ripe only in appearance. That fruit that fell to the ground is ripe only in appearance. The apples worm-eaten, see worm like a serpent, right? Another symbol of the serpent's work, are among the other fruits thrown to the ground. To eat these, wind falls, and decayed and unripe fruit produces almost certain death, cholera. And yet not surely death in all cases. By the phallus explanations, lust, satisfied, shame, disgust, and coldness ensue. Yeah, winter. Vitality is, as it were, dead, right? It's dark. Ain't nobody doing anything in the winter. You're relaxing. No energy. Vitality is dead. The plants are dying. And yet not surely so. See the symbol 9, in this case resurrection. The symbol 9, in this case resurrection. He shall rise again. Who shall rise again? The Escheat sun shall rise again, shall be born again on December 25th. And he shall rise, he shall ascend northward. From December 25th, the sun ascends a full 1 degree on the sundial. And eventually the sun will do what? On March 22nd, pass over the celestial equator, which is Passover. Or for the Christians, the resurrection of Christ, or for the Jewish people, their Passover celebration, okay? So y'all, we're gonna have to pick it back up on page 130. I hope y'all got something out of this, especially from the affidavit of fact, etc. So you can see how this applies to taking back your birthright, okay? To nationalizing. Assalamu alaikum, Islam to all the Moors, Shalawam.